English Listening Podcast. TOEIC 700 points. Chapter 1, Business Communications. In today's global business environment, effective communication is paramount to achieving organizational success. Companies that prioritize clear communication channels often experience higher employee engagement and productivity. When preparing for international business meetings, it is essential to consider cultural differences that may impact communication styles. Many multinational corporations now require employees to demonstrate proficiency in at least one foreign language before considering them for overseas assignments. Written correspondence must be concise yet comprehensive, addressing key points without unnecessary elaboration. Professionals should always proofread emails before sending them to avoid misunderstandings or errors that could damage the company's reputation. Video conferencing has transformed how remote teams collaborate, although technical difficulties occasionally disrupt important discussions. Despite technological advances, face-to-face meetings remain highly valued for building trust and resolving complex issues that require nuanced interpretation of verbal and nonverbal cues. Business reports should begin with an executive summary highlighting main findings and recommendations. Quarterly financial statements enable stakeholders to assess a company's performance and make informed decisions regarding future investments. During presentations, visual aids should complement verbal explanations without overwhelming the audience with excessive information. Effective speakers maintain eye contact and adjust their delivery based on audience feedback to ensure their message resonates appropriately. Corporate communication strategies must address both internal and external stakeholders with consistent messaging. Internal newsletters keep employees informed about company developments and foster a sense of community within large organizations. Press releases announce significant developments to media outlets and the public, requiring careful crafting to convey intended messages accurately. Social media policies establish guidelines for employees representing the company online, balancing personal expression with professional responsibilities. Negotiation skills are invaluable in business contexts, from securing favorable contract terms to resolving disputes amicably. Successful negotiators prepare thoroughly by researching counterparts' interests and establishing clear objectives before discussions begin. Active listening during negotiations demonstrates respect while providing insights into potential compromise solutions. Following negotiations, written agreements should document all terms clearly to prevent future misunderstandings between parties. Cross-cultural communication competence has become increasingly important as businesses expand globally. What constitutes appropriate business etiquette varies significantly across regions, from gift-giving practices to expectations regarding punctuality. Awareness of high-context versus low-context communication styles helps professionals adapt their approach when working with international partners. Language barriers may necessitate interpreters for complex negotiations, although English remains the predominant language for international business transactions. Chapter 2, Technology and Innovation. Technological innovation continues to reshape industries at an unprecedented pace. Cloud computing services have revolutionized how businesses store and process data, reducing infrastructure costs while improving accessibility. Artificial intelligence applications now perform tasks previously requiring human intelligence, from analyzing market trends to providing customer support. Companies that fail to embrace digital transformation risk becoming obsolete in increasingly competitive markets, where technological agility often determines survival. Cybersecurity concerns have intensified as organizations become more dependent on interconnected systems. Data breaches can result in significant financial losses and damage to customer trust that may take years to rebuild. Many enterprises implement multi-factor authentication protocols to protect sensitive information from unauthorized access. Regular security audits help identify vulnerabilities before malicious actors can exploit them, although sophisticated threats continue to evolve, requiring constant vigilance. The Internet of Things connects everyday devices to networks, enabling automated responses to changing conditions. Smart building technology adjusts lighting and temperature settings based on occupancy patterns, reducing energy consumption and operational costs. Wearable devices monitor health metrics and provide users with personalized recommendations to improve well-being. As 5G networks become more widespread, these innovations will continue to evolve and generate new opportunities across sectors previously limited by connectivity constraints. Automation technologies are transforming manufacturing processes, with robotic systems handling increasingly complex assembly tasks. Machine learning algorithms optimize production schedules based on multiple variables, including material availability and equipment maintenance requirements. Digital twins create virtual replicas of physical assets, enabling comprehensive testing and simulation before implementation. Predictive maintenance systems analyze operational data to forecast equipment failures before they occur, minimizing costly production interruptions. Blockchain technology extends beyond cryptocurrencies to applications requiring secure, transparent record-keeping. Supply chain management benefits from blockchain's ability to track items from origin to destination with tamper-proof documentation. Smart contracts automatically execute predetermined actions when specified conditions are met, reducing administrative overhead and potential disputes. Financial institutions explore blockchain applications for clearing and settlement processes that traditionally require extensive reconciliation efforts. Emerging technologies promise further disruption across industries in coming years. Quantum computing may eventually solve complex problems beyond the capabilities of conventional computers, particularly in fields such as materials science and cryptography. Augmented reality overlays digital information onto physical environments, enhancing training programs and maintenance procedures. Virtual collaboration tools continue to evolve, incorporating haptic feedback and three-dimensional visualization to approximate in-person experiences for distributed teams working across global locations. Chapter 3: Environmental Sustainability. Environmental sustainability has become a central concern for businesses and governments worldwide. Renewable energy sources, including solar and wind power, are increasingly cost-competitive with fossil fuels while producing minimal carbon emissions. Many corporations have established ambitious targets to achieve carbon neutrality by implementing comprehensive sustainability strategies. These initiatives often require significant initial investments, but generate long-term financial and reputational benefits through reduced operational costs and enhanced brand perception. Waste reduction programs focus on minimizing environmental impact through recycling, composting, and responsible disposal methods. The concept of a circular economy promotes designs that facilitate reuse and recycling of materials that would otherwise end up in landfills. Sustainable supply chain management considers environmental factors at every stage, from raw material sourcing to final product delivery. Companies that demonstrate genuine commitment to environmental responsibility typically attract environmentally conscious consumers and investors seeking alignment with their values. Water conservation efforts have gained urgency as many regions face increasing scarcity of this essential resource. Agricultural practices that reduce water consumption while maintaining crop yields are particularly valuable in drought-prone areas. Green building certifications recognize structures designed to minimize environmental impact through efficient use of energy, water, and materials. As climate change accelerates, businesses must adapt to new regulations while addressing consumer expectations for environmentally responsible products and services. Corporate sustainability reporting provides transparency regarding environmental impact and improvement efforts. Standardized frameworks enable stakeholders to compare performance across organizations and industry sectors. Carbon footprint assessments quantify greenhouse gas emissions associated with business activities, identifying areas for potential reduction. Life cycle analyses evaluate environmental impacts throughout product lifespans, from raw material extraction through disposal or recycling stages. Biodiversity conservation has gained recognition as an essential component of environmental sustainability. Businesses increasingly consider impacts on natural habitats when planning facility expansions or resource extraction. Sustainable forestry practices maintain ecosystem functions while providing renewable materials for various industries. Marine conservation efforts protect ocean resources that support global food systems and regulate atmospheric conditions affecting climate patterns worldwide. Regulatory compliance regarding environmental standards continues to evolve, with increasingly stringent requirements in many jurisdictions. Environmental impact assessments evaluate potential consequences before project implementation, often influencing design modifications. Pollution prevention measures focus on minimizing harmful emissions rather than treating them after generation. Environmental management systems provide structured approaches for organizations to achieve continuous improvement in sustainability performance across operational activities. Chapter 4: Global Economics. Global economic conditions influence business strategies across industries and national boundaries. International trade agreements establish frameworks for exchange of goods and services, although protectionist policies occasionally create barriers. Currency fluctuations can significantly impact profit margins for companies engaged in cross-border commerce. Financial analysts monitor economic indicators to anticipate market trends and advise clients accordingly regarding investment decisions and risk management approaches. Emerging markets present substantial growth opportunities alongside considerable risks that require careful assessment. Infrastructure development in these regions often lags behind economic expansion, creating logistical challenges for businesses. Nevertheless, rising middle classes in developing economies represent attractive consumer segments for many multinational corporations. Companies entering unfamiliar markets must conduct thorough research to understand local preferences and regulatory requirements before committing significant resources. Economic downturns typically prompt businesses to reevaluate spending priorities and explore cost reduction measures. During recessions, organizations may postpone capital investments while focusing on maintaining essential operations. Government stimulus packages aim to accelerate economic recovery through targeted spending and policy initiatives. When economic conditions improve, businesses that maintained strategic investments often gain competitive advantages over those that implemented excessive cuts without considering long-term implications. Supply chain resilience has received increased attention following disruptions from various sources, including natural disasters and public health emergencies. Geographic diversification of suppliers reduces vulnerability to regional incidents that might otherwise halt production. Just-in-time inventory systems offer efficiency benefits, but may increase susceptibility to supply chain interruptions. Many organizations now maintain strategic reserves of critical components despite associated carrying costs. Economic inequality presents challenges for sustainable growth in both developed and developing nations. Progressive taxation policies aim to redistribute wealth while funding public services that benefit broader populations. Corporate social responsibility initiatives address community needs through targeted programs and philanthropic activities. Inclusive business models deliberately incorporate disadvantaged populations into value chains as employees, suppliers, or distributors. Monetary policy decisions by central banks influence borrowing costs and currency values that affect business operations. Interest rate adjustments impact capital expenditure decisions and consumer purchasing behavior across economic sectors. Quantitative easing programs inject liquidity into financial systems during economic downturns to stimulate activity. Inflation management remains a primary concern for policymakers balancing economic growth objectives with price stability considerations. Chapter 5: Human Resources Management. Effective human resources management is fundamental to organizational performance and employee satisfaction. Recruitment processes have evolved to incorporate digital platforms that connect employers with qualified candidates worldwide. Many companies utilize skills assessments and behavioral interviews to evaluate potential employees beyond their resumes. After hiring, comprehensive onboarding programs help new staff members understand company culture and expectations, accelerating their integration into workplace environments. Performance evaluation systems provide structured feedback to employees regarding their strengths and areas for improvement. Regular performance reviews should incorporate measurable objectives and specific examples rather than vague generalizations. Professional development opportunities demonstrate organizational commitment to employee growth while enhancing workforce capabilities. Training programs addressing emerging skills gaps help businesses adapt to changing market requirements and technological developments. Employee wellness initiatives recognize the connection between physical and mental health and workplace productivity. Organizations increasingly offer flexible working arrangements to accommodate diverse needs and promote work-life balance. Conflict resolution protocols establish clear procedures for addressing workplace disagreements before they escalate. Companies with strong corporate cultures typically experience lower turnover rates and higher levels of employee engagement, translating into superior business outcomes and competitive advantages. Talent management strategies identify and develop individuals with potential for leadership positions. Succession planning ensures continuity when key personnel depart by preparing internal candidates to assume greater responsibilities. Mentoring programs pair experienced employees with promising junior staff members for knowledge transfer and professional guidance. High-potential development programs accelerate career progression for exceptional performers while addressing organizational leadership needs. Compensation structures must balance internal equity considerations with external market competitiveness. Base salary determinations typically reflect job responsibilities, required qualifications, and performance expectations. Variable compensation components link rewards directly to individual, team, or organizational performance metrics. Benefits packages often include health insurance, retirement plans, and other non-monetary incentives that enhance total compensation value beyond direct financial remuneration. Workforce diversity and inclusion initiatives recognize the business advantages of varied perspectives and experiences. Recruitment strategies targeting underrepresented groups expand talent pools while addressing historical inequities. Unconscious bias training helps managers make more objective decisions regarding hiring, promotion, and development opportunities. Employee resource groups provide support networks while contributing insights regarding inclusive policy development and implementation strategies. Chapter 6: Marketing Strategies. Effective marketing strategies align promotional efforts with organizational objectives and consumer preferences. Target audience analysis provides crucial insights into customer demographics, behaviors, and motivations that inform campaign development. Digital marketing channels enable precise measurement of performance metrics, allowing for continuous optimization. Social media platforms facilitate direct engagement with consumers while building brand awareness and loyalty through consistent, authentic interactions. Content marketing focuses on creating valuable information that attracts potential customers rather than interrupting them with traditional advertisements. Educational blog posts, instructional videos, and industry reports position organizations as knowledgeable authorities in their fields. Email marketing campaigns deliver personalized messages directly to interested prospects, often yielding higher conversion rates than broader approaches. Customer relationship management systems track interactions across touchpoints to create coherent experiences throughout the buyer journey. Market research identifies unmet needs and emerging trends that present opportunities for product development. Consumer surveys and focus groups gather qualitative feedback that complements quantitative data from sales reports and website analytics. Competitive analysis examines rival offerings to identify distinctive advantages that can be emphasized in promotional materials. Successful marketing strategies evolve continuously in response to changing market conditions and consumer preferences identified through systematic research methodologies. Brand positioning establishes how companies differentiate themselves from competitors in consumers' perceptions. Value propositions articulate specific benefits that customers receive from products or services. Visual identity elements, including logos, color schemes, and typography, create recognition and convey brand attributes. Consistency across marketing materials reinforces brand identity, although periodic refreshes prevent perceptions of stagnation in rapidly evolving markets. Pricing strategies consider multiple factors, including production costs, perceived value, and competitive positioning. Premium pricing establishes quality perceptions, but limits market size to consumers willing to pay higher prices. Penetration pricing sacrifices initial margins to build market share rapidly in new segments. Dynamic pricing adjusts rates based on demand patterns, particularly effective in industries with perishable inventory such as hospitality and transportation. Distribution channel selection impacts how products reach consumers and influences overall marketing strategy. Traditional retail environments provide tactile product experiences, but require significant investment in inventory and physical locations. E-commerce platforms reduce geographical limitations while enabling direct consumer relationships. Omnichannel approaches integrate multiple touchpoints to create seamless experiences regardless of how customers choose to interact with brands across digital and physical environments. Chapter 7: Project Management. Effective project management ensures that initiatives are completed on schedule, within budget, and according to specifications. The planning phase establishes clear objectives, timelines, resource requirements, and performance metrics. Risk assessment identifies potential obstacles and develops contingency plans to address them if they materialize. Regular progress meetings allow team members to discuss challenges and coordinate their efforts toward achieving shared objectives within established constraints. Project management methodologies provide structured frameworks for organizing tasks and monitoring completion. The traditional waterfall approach involves sequential phases with formal approvals before proceeding to subsequent stages. Agile methodologies emphasize flexibility and iterative development through short work cycles called sprints. Hybrid approaches combine elements of multiple methodologies based on specific project requirements and organizational contexts that may benefit from different techniques. Resource allocation balances competing priorities to optimize overall project outcomes. Team leaders must consider individual workloads and specialized skills when assigning responsibilities. Scope management prevents projects from expanding beyond original parameters without corresponding adjustments to timelines and budgets. After completion, post-project reviews evaluate performance and identify lessons for future initiatives through structured reflection processes that capture institutional knowledge. Project governance structures establish decision-making authorities and escalation procedures. Steering committees typically include key stakeholders who provide strategic direction and approve significant changes. Project managers serve as central coordination points, facilitating communication among team members and stakeholders. Regular status reports document progress against established milestones while highlighting issues requiring attention or intervention from leadership. Critical path analysis identifies tasks that directly impact project completion timelines. Activities on the critical path require careful monitoring since delays will extend overall project duration. Resource leveling techniques adjust schedules to prevent overallocation of personnel or equipment across concurrent activities. Earned value management compares actual performance against planned progress, providing early warning of potential schedule or budget variances. Stakeholder management recognizes diverse interests affected by project outcomes. Communication plans specify information distribution frequency and formats tailored to different stakeholder groups. Engagement strategies actively involve key stakeholders in decision-making processes to build support for project objectives. Change management components address human factors that might otherwise impede successful implementation of project deliverables within organizational contexts. Chapter 8: Healthcare Innovations. Healthcare innovations continue to improve treatment outcomes while addressing efficiency and accessibility challenges. Electronic medical record systems streamline information sharing among providers while reducing errors associated with paper documentation. Telemedicine platforms enable remote consultations, particularly valuable for patients in rural areas with limited access to specialists. Predictive analytics identify patterns in medical data that help providers anticipate and prevent health complications before they develop into serious conditions. Advances in medical imaging technology produce increasingly detailed visualizations while minimizing radiation exposure. Minimally invasive surgical techniques reduce recovery times and complications compared to traditional open procedures. Personalized medicine approaches tailored treatments based on genetic profiles, improving effectiveness while reducing adverse reactions. Despite these technological advances, empathetic patient communication remains essential to quality care and positive treatment outcomes. Preventive healthcare initiatives focus on maintaining wellness rather than treating established conditions. Population health management examines data across communities to identify risk factors and develop targeted interventions. Patient education programs empower individuals to make informed decisions regarding their health and treatment options. Healthcare organizations increasingly emphasize interdisciplinary collaboration to address complex medical challenges holistically rather than through fragmented specialty approaches. Healthcare delivery models continue to evolve in response to demographic trends and economic pressures. Integrated care systems coordinate services across providers to improve patient experiences and outcomes. Value-based payment structures link reimbursement to quality measures rather than service volume. Community health workers extend professional care teams by providing culturally sensitive support to underserved populations with specific health needs and barriers to traditional services. Medical device innovations enhance diagnostic accuracy and treatment effectiveness. Wearable monitoring systems provide continuous data collection outside clinical settings, enabling earlier intervention when parameters indicate potential concerns. Robotic surgical assistants enhance precision during complex procedures, particularly in confined anatomical spaces. Implantable devices deliver medications or electrical stimulation directly to targeted tissues, minimizing systemic effects and improving therapeutic outcomes. Digital health applications engage patients in their own care management. Medication adherence tools provide reminders and track compliance with prescribed treatment regimens. Virtual reality applications offer pain management alternatives and rehabilitation support through immersive experiences. Mobile health platforms connect patients with providers between scheduled appointments for ongoing condition management. These technological solutions complement traditional healthcare while expanding access and improving convenience for diverse patient populations. Chapter 9: Urban Development. Urban development strategies balance population growth with environmental considerations and quality of life factors. Transportation planning addresses congestion through expanded public transit options and improved infrastructure for cyclists and pedestrians. Mixed-use developments combine residential, commercial, and recreational spaces, reducing commuting needs while creating vibrant neighborhoods. Smart city initiatives leverage technology to optimize resource utilization and improve service delivery through interconnected systems that respond dynamically to changing conditions. Affordable housing remains a significant challenge in many urban areas experiencing rapid population growth. Zoning regulations influence development patterns, although outdated codes sometimes impede innovative solutions to housing shortages. Public-private partnerships often facilitate large-scale urban renewal projects that would be difficult for either sector to implement independently. Community engagement processes ensure that development plans reflect local priorities and concerns rather than being imposed without consideration of existing neighborhood characteristics. Urban green spaces provide environmental benefits while offering recreational opportunities for residents. Parks and natural areas help manage stormwater runoff while mitigating urban heat island effects that intensify climate impacts. Historic preservation efforts maintain cultural heritage while adapting older structures for contemporary uses. Successful urban development balances immediate needs with long-term sustainability to create communities that remain desirable for future generations. Infrastructure planning must anticipate future requirements rather than simply addressing current deficiencies. Water distribution systems require regular maintenance and occasional expansion to accommodate population growth. Electrical grid modernization incorporates renewable energy sources and smart technology to improve reliability and efficiency. Telecommunications infrastructure provides essential connectivity for businesses and residents, with equitable access increasingly considered a necessity rather than a luxury. Disaster resilience has gained prominence in urban planning discussions, particularly in regions vulnerable to natural hazards. Building codes establish minimum standards for structural integrity under various stress conditions. Emergency response planning coordinates resources across agencies to address crisis situations effectively. Infrastructure redundancy ensures continued functionality of essential services when primary systems experience disruptions. Urban economic development initiatives attract investment while creating employment opportunities for residents. Business incubators provide support for entrepreneurial ventures during early development stages. Workforce development programs align educational offerings with local employment needs. Cultural districts and entertainment venues generate tourism revenue while enhancing quality of life for permanent residents. Successful cities maintain diverse economic bases rather than relying excessively on single industries vulnerable to market fluctuations. Chapter 10: International Relations. International relations encompass complex interactions among nations with diverse interests and perspectives. Diplomatic negotiations seek mutually beneficial solutions to cross-border challenges, from trade disputes to environmental concerns. Cultural understanding facilitates productive dialogue by acknowledging different values and communication styles. International organizations establish frameworks for cooperation on global issues, requiring coordinated responses from multiple governments with varying resources and priorities. Foreign direct investment strengthens economic ties between nations while transferring knowledge and technology. Host countries typically implement regulations to ensure that such investments align with national development priorities. International aid programs address humanitarian crises and support sustainable development in regions facing significant challenges. These initiatives require careful design to avoid creating dependency or undermining local capacities through well-intentioned but poorly conceived interventions. Global challenges, including climate change, public health emergencies, and regional conflicts, increasingly require international cooperation. Multilateral agreements establish shared commitments, although enforcement mechanisms vary in effectiveness. Non-governmental organizations contribute specialized expertise and grassroots perspectives to international discussions. Despite occasional tensions, economic interdependence and shared interests continue to motivate collaborative approaches to addressing transnational issues that transcend national boundaries. Security alliances provide collective defense arrangements against external threats. Military cooperation includes joint training exercises and intelligence sharing among trusted partners. Arms control agreements limit weapons proliferation while establishing verification protocols. Peacekeeping operations deploy multinational forces to conflict zones with mandates ranging from observation to active intervention depending on specific circumstances and authorizing resolutions. Regional integration initiatives create economic and political communities with varying degrees of cooperation. Customs unions eliminate tariffs among member states while establishing common external trade policies. Freedom of movement provisions facilitate labor mobility across participating nations. Shared regulatory frameworks harmonize standards to facilitate commerce while maintaining appropriate protections for consumers and environments within integrated markets. Cultural diplomacy promotes mutual understanding through educational exchanges and artistic presentations. Academic collaboration advances knowledge through multinational research projects addressing global challenges. Language instruction programs facilitate cross-cultural communication essential for effective international engagement. Heritage conservation efforts recognize shared human history transcending modern political boundaries. These soft power approaches complement traditional diplomatic channels while building relationships resistant to transitory political disagreements.